you think people maybe struggle even more? But the struggle comes from the mind. And that's the reason why they react this way. That's what I feel.
What do you feel? You know, remember, I was like, okay, what do you feel right now? I'm not answering sometimes their question. I sometimes just like, I'm asking them, what do you feel? Oh, I feel this. I feel exactly. You feel many things because you are one. You have one body. Yes, we have some targeting, like we targeting certain things, which is true. Like you might feel more the back of your arm, which we call triceps or whatever. You can do that, of course. But you're supposed to feel your body as one. And this is that introspection that actually people don't want to do.
If we want to lose weight and we find it difficult, the reason is simple. Our fat cells do not want to die. Channel is skyrocketing. We passed the 6,000 subscribers, and I can't be more grateful about that. Today, we're going to welcome Alona. Hi. There we go again.
Haven't seen you since Tuesday.
Guys, let's premise the fact that I am a usual goer of Alona's classes, Pilates classes. And I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good. Just came from another client.
Exactly.
As always.
There is something that I put in my notes, and I would like you to hear that, and I would like you to comment on that.
Okay.
In a world obsessed with pushing harder and moving faster, we forget that real transformation often lives in the smallest movements. The ones your nervous system resists the most. What pops in your mind?
Well, it's actually a part of my what I'm believing in, because since you've been coming to my classes, you stuck, right? You keep coming. You keep coming, right?
Not only me.
Yeah, not only you. Yeah, like usually in our classes we have like the same people over and over again, like coming and still enjoying over the years, which I'm happy about. But what you just said is actually what I believe in, because if you see, everybody wants to go outside, yeah, faster, stronger, competitive, which is, I think it's a part of our human nature, anyways. But we forget that there are different. There is spectrum, right? There is faster, stronger, bigger, but there's also the other one, yeah, more subtle, more calm, more thoughtful, more aware. And this is the spectrum that I want people to explore, because I believe that introspection that we need to take in when we exercise is super important, because it comes from within, not without.
You know what, this makes me think about the fact that, I'm a coach and I study neuroscience. It's so, for me, when I attend your classes, it's very visible, the connection between body and mind. So I'll give you an example. When I do my coaching sessions, there is an exercise that people who know me, they kind of understand the benefit of it. It's called sensory. It brings you to the present moment. It brings awareness, brings the neural system to be aware of what is feeling, what is perceiving. And I see this in the actual Pilates discipline. Can you tell me a little bit more about who's the founder of Pilates?
It's Joseph Pilates.
Yeah.
It's his last name. Yeah. But what we have today as a Pilates, I think we evolved so much. At least I think I'm happy and I'm lucky with the teachers in my life that I decided not to stick to the classical version of it. I mean, I respect the kind of the heritage that we have from those times, from Joseph Pilates, from that like a heavy kind of German kind of type contrology, like we control. But I think we have to evolve beyond that. Like we cannot just go with a controlled movement and like very rigid and stuff. We need to make ourselves more adaptable. And why Pilates in my life, for example? Because this is how I started my journey from pain that I had in my back. I used to fly before, and I had lots of back pain. And that's how I discovered Pilates, and it helped me a lot. And then I just like, it naturally kind of transformed for me trying to help other people. This is how Pilates came into my life. But again, I'm not teaching traditional, conventional things. I maybe it might look the same, but the approach and the how can I say, like the idea behind it is a little bit different than just to squeeze, control your core, and we are going. No.
You created your own way of...
I did not create.
Okay.
I did not create. I said like I'm happy. I was happy and I was lucky with the teachers in my life who showed me a different realm of how you can teach and how you can become better and help people. So basically make people look less robotic when they move and a bit more like human. This is what about. I did not create my way, but I followed a certain concept. I embraced a certain concept. Of course, I'm adding my own things from what I learned from different things like Gyrotonic, for example, that really opened my my eyes, opened a new world for me. And so basically I embraced a certain way of thinking, which is more rhythmic, more flowing movement, not like, okay, we control, we hold, we move. Like I don't do that anymore. I'm sure if you go to other Pilates classes, you can feel what I'm talking about, right? I'm sure you do.
And I know why you're laughing, because I mean, it's very visible to me. I think we can agree with the fact that there is a difference between someone who dedicated her life, his life or her life, in your case, her life, to the study of the harmony between body and mind.
Still ongoing.
Still ongoing. And someone who comes from a different discipline, as valid as Pilates. There can be gymnastics, there can be dance. So this is what I feel when we talk about dedicating our life towards something that it becomes our philosophy. And I feel that when you, let's say, compare your way of teaching to other people's way of teaching, there is something that characterizes you in terms of I embrace the philosophy and I give away the rigidity of, it has to be done this, has to be done this way. This is what I feel.
Yeah, that's actually true, because when I just started doing Pilates, actually, I sometimes when you remember those years and you feel like you're like in a void of things, people do things. I mean, you have your base, you have your training, you have your course, which is kind of, okay, this is what you have, go and teach, right? But it's easier said than done, because yes, there is a book, there is a repertoire that you can follow, but then you start asking yourself questions. I'm a very inquisitive person, like by nature. So sometimes like, why do we do it this way? And I think those whys, those questions, they brought me to all the fascia oriented training, or like, actually it's not fascia, it's myofascia, but that's a bit more technical part. Yeah, so that's what opened new doors for me, because of the question why. I couldn't settle just like what's written in the book, because this is just like the entrance. Those courses just like the entry ticket to the industry, and then what you do with it, this is up to you. What do you want to focus on? Who said that there should be rules, right? I mean, there are certain rules, of course, but who said that it has to be just this way? Why this way is the only way? This is not the only way. There are different ways. That's why I became less how can I say, less categorical in that way. When I see other teachers doing their things, I'm not saying, okay, I'm the best, come to me, I'm the only way. No, I'm not the only way. To each their own. You find what you like, your body resonates, but I give you an opportunity to go past just physical, because we're not just physical, we are emotional, we are nervous, we are a nervous system, I mean, yeah, we are sensory, we are all of those things. And I feel that being like reductionist in a way, okay, we move our arm and we just do the bicep. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, again, we can make fun, whatever, but as I said, there is time and place for everything. However, if you want to embrace this material thing that we call the body, because we live in material world, we express ourselves through this material, that's what we call tissue, whatever you want to call it, and you want to embrace yourself as one, but I don't want to always keep like saying, okay, now we work the abs. This is like the one question that always pisses me off in every single class. I don't feel anything. Why do I not feel? Where
I was about to go there.
Where's supposed? Why it doesn't burn? I was like, first things first. Why it's supposed to burn for it to work? When you're walking, does it burn? I mean, if you have pain, it does. But what I'm saying, like, you doing your movement, you creating better movement patterns, right?
Why do you think people maybe struggle even more? But the struggle comes from the mind. And that's the reason why they react this way. That's what I feel. I don't know if you feel the same, but like, I thought I had the perception that you were like, you know, going to this direction. Like, I've seen some reactions saying, what am I supposed to feel?
Yes. Yeah, I know. But sometimes it's like, what do you feel? You know, remember, it's like, okay, what do you feel right now? I'm not answering sometimes their question. I sometimes just like, I'm asking them, what do you feel? Oh, I feel this. I feel exactly. You feel many things because you are one. You have one body. Yes, we have some targeting, like we're targeting certain certain things, which is true. Like you might feel more the back of your arm, which we call triceps or whatever. You can do that, of course, but you're supposed to feel your body as one. And this is that introspection that actually people don't want to do. They don't want to go in. That's why I think there are different thoughts, for me at least, why people like that kind of burn and stuff. First, we like to achieve things and feel it, like literally like have the physical evidence. Okay, I feel the burning. That means I'm working, right? Which is true. This is like you can touch it in a way. Yeah, you have that representation. But at the same time, I feel people don't want to go inside. That's why they don't want to go through, okay, what do I feel in my shoulder? What do I feel in my head? What do I feel in my hip? What do I feel in my foot? People are not interested in that. They just want to, okay, tick the box and go. and get past that. But
it creates a lot of connections with the neuroscience.
Exactly.
Because there is this part of the neurosystem, which is called sympathetic neurosystem, which is responsible for the survival mode.
Yeah.
And I believe, I don't know if you agree with that at some point a human being wants to perceive adrenaline. You know, there is all these chemicals balancing and not balancing. But when you make an effort, you want to feel the adrenaline.
Yep.
When you do Pilates, the adrenaline is not really much there.
No.
Because you are beyond this.
Yeah, you go more into parasympathetic mode if you think about it. Not all the time, but this is the goal, because you connect to your breathing. The moment you start regulating your breath, you connect to your parasympathetic mode. And if you think, I'm sure you agree with me that we run in sympathetic a lot. We cannot down-regulate ourselves. So the parasympathetic response, which is super important, which is the breathing. This is the first thing you do, because breathing is the only thing that we can control, but at the same time, if we forget about it, the body will take care of take care of our breathing, right? If we forget to breathe, the body will remind us. But if we don't breathe properly, because we can actually influence the breath. This is one of those automatic things that we can actually influence. We cannot fully control it, because at some point you will take that breath in. If you hold, you have to take a breath in at some point, but you will be able to influence it in any way you like. With your breath, you can bring yourself to a high, and you can bring yourself to a low. So that's the power of the breath, and all those mind and body practices like yoga, like Pilates, like Gyrotonic. Yeah, you can play with your breath, and depending on and the more you have that connection, okay, I'm breathing or I'm not breathing, the more you can, bring yourself to different states in your body.
The more you are creating harmony between the survival mode and the parasympathetic nervous system.
Exactly. And sometimes I can hear in my classes like, yeah, there's too much thinking. Like, actually, if you think about it, it's feeling, it's not thinking, it's sensory.
It must be hard for you. I can get that.
It's sensory. It's not, because if I okay, I'm thinking about, no, I'm not thinking about my arm. I try to feel my arm.
Once you told me that before being a Pilates and Gyrotonic teacher, you were a flight attendant.
Yes, that's true.
Would you mind telling the audience? Because many people I see that they struggle to find, all of us, because of, our struggles, our let's say limiting beliefs. We struggle to take the courage to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
So, when I was working, before I was working a flight attendant, actually, my first, education-wise, I graduated with English and German as a translator.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, so this is my background. But before that, when I was choosing my, let's say, career path, I was I applied for biology and I applied for English. And I passed both of them, and I was choosing, what do I want to do? I like this, and I read all the time. And in the end, I chose English, and this is, I think, the biology part that I really was passionate about. It just came now in a different kind of way. But then from that, from working as a translator, as an English teacher, I went to become a flight attendant. And then when I was flying for a few years, I realized, okay, I've seen the world. It's fun. But what value do I bring? What change do I create around me? I don't feel like I'm doing, it's a great job in terms of experience and social skills, which is amazing, especially when you're young. But then you're like, what value? What can I feel the value that I am creating with what I'm doing? And I couldn't feel it. And that's how I started searching what can I do with my life? And my pain led me
to the necessity to fulfill.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of worked out. Yeah.
Since now you are a Pilates teacher, now looking back, to your previous job, what did you bring from the previous job to your present job?
I think it's soft skills. Social interaction skills.
How to answer to provocative questions.
Exactly. Sometimes I'm waiting for that as well. I know a lot of teachers, they don't like it. They don't like being questioned. I enjoy that. I enjoy that back and forth.
So you're saying that sometimes passengers are quite difficult.
Yeah, of course.
And have to...
You find all sorts of characters all over the world. Yeah, you do. And you learn to react quick as well. Quick and professional, which is your work ethics. Yeah.
So we can easily say then that every single thing that we find painful at the moment, in the future, if then we move to another thing that can be even the experience with a loved one, in friendship or in a job that you don't like, and then you move on. then you understand that you have the tools.
Yeah.
Because of the experience you didn't want to have, because of the experience that you were finding painful, a person, a relationship, a job.
True, but at the same time, like you learn things. So you like, I always look at everything as an experience. Like, and what can you do? How can you transform that experience into your life? How can you use it? Sometimes you don't realize it until you start like talking like this in a podcast, or like where do I get that from? Like sometimes you ask yourself a question like, yes, I got it from my time spent working, for example, as a flight attendant, as a cabin crew. Like you find many things useful that you can bring in, because I believe every single job teaches us something, and you just can take the best part of it, the juice, right? And you can take it and transform it into other things that you're doing, like career change or whatever you do.
Yeah. And this is what makes a human being unique in whatever path
and environment.
Environment, social environment has developed a type of social skills that at some point has created the human being that he is at this stage of his life or her life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we learn.
Tell me about the fascia. Why people should know about fascia?
First, because fascia or myofascia, because we're all one. We cannot separate things, but we still do, because that's how a human brain works. We need to separate things. We cannot look at everything as a whole. Sometimes we need kind of bits and pieces to put things together. So fascia is basically one of the most ubiquitous tissues in the human body. It's the most sensory organ, with the most sensory tissue. This is the most sensory tissue in the human body, which is making it as your blueprint. Like it's your fascia is your blueprint. Fascia is your ground architecture. So you are looking as you, Lucia, because of the fascia.
Right.
This is how embryologically we develop. Again, it doesn't mean that all the muscle tissue or other tissues, they are not important. They are all one. They are all merge and everything. But basically, fascia is your communication system. Yes, nervous system is your communication system, but fascia is the one that brings fluidity to the body.
So fascia is the bundle of tissues that connects the muscles and ligaments.
Like if you look at the fascia definition, every year they change it, because you cannot fully describe like you can see, like it's growing and growing and growing, like that definition. It's very hard to describe. And you'll find more technical people who can say more technical things about fascia and myofascia. But for me, the most important part that I started feeling what that is. It's the connectivity that connectivity and continuity that we're looking for. Because why, for example, we see like very like muscly people, but they are in a lot of pain. That's first. Sometimes they are in a lot of pain, although they have lots of muscles. Everybody praise muscles these days. Yeah, we love muscles. I mean, they are good. Yeah, but at the same time, there is no connectivity. It's a lot of disconnection. You can see how people move. People move like, kind of robot linear kind of style, because we train like that. And you train your fascia, your blueprint, the same way. You train it piece by piece, part by part. And you want to connect things together. And to connect things together, you need patience, right?
So all of this goes...
You need time.
Maybe not against, but is it basically explaining a different theory compared to isolating a muscle?
Exactly. It's not about... It's like isolation in general. I'm saying in certain cases, of course, you need that kind of training. Of course, maybe you had you had a certain injury which you need to
Right.
like I'm not saying this is not useful, right? Because there is time and space for everything. But in general, for us to be whole, I think that's what people are looking for, right? You can see that's about the social skills that I I got from Kevin Kerr. Like sometimes people come to me, and I see that they are completely disconnected. They are so outside. They're not inside. They don't have a connection to themselves, and they can be. I'm not saying they're crazy or whatever, like some issues with their psychological state. I'm just saying, as you walk in and you see a human being and you perceive a human being as somehow disconnected. And when you start bringing that introspection, it's like, okay, how can you bring the continuity, let's say from the tips of your toes to the opposite shoulder? How can you do that, right? So this is fascia. This is the continuity that creates those connections. This is fascia.
Is this the reason why when you feel pain, I don't know, like a contracture here?
Yeah, it could be from your foot.
There.
It could be from your foot. Your shoulder pain can come from your foot. Easy.
Last time I wasn't able to not walk, but move the hips properly, the upper body.
Yeah.
And because I had a massive contracture on the lower back.
Yeah.
And I felt that also the muscles or the nerves have been triggered on the thighs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is the inflammation that you're talking about.
Exactly. So our body communicates in miraculous ways. As I'm saying, like, and we in the Western world, we create a lot of disconnection, right? If you look to the East, like to the Chinese medicine, for example, like Eastern, let's say, Eastern medicine, it's all about connection. For example, I sometimes do Qigong with my friend, which is a movement, meditation, energy practice. And it's all about connections. It's all about how you interact with the environment surrounding you. It's amazing.
When you talk about connections, in my experience and my studies and what I really believe in, because you know that what I put into practice in my life is also what is in my core values. I feel super blessed for that, because I'm very grateful. Is the fact that you connect your belief and your being with whatever is the expression of your body. And in a way, so in my case, for example, I study the brain. I always say, we remove the lungs, we're still us. We remove the heart, it's still us. Because the heart doesn't define us, the lungs don't define us. But in a way, we define ourselves with our brain, and we create this disconnection between what we really want, because we are fully engraved in what we decide our brain has to think. And this we think is a connection, but it's a complete disconnection.
Because actually, I know it sounds sometimes spiritual, whatever, but if we don't have the connection with your heart and your brain, this is when you have a problem. And for me, like, I started to think about it. What is the most problem people have these days? It's what we call bad posture, right? We just forward, right? Driving on your phone, laptop, everywhere here. What it created disconnection between your head and your neck from the rest of your body. It's coming on a physical level. The head is kind of separate. If you see that, everything is close in here. I see it
myself as well.
Yeah, everybody.
Everyone,
it's a very advanced 21st century that we have to sit on a computer, right? You have to. This is your job, but it shouldn't define you. That's the thing. But what I'm saying about the disconnection part we talked about, like your head is outside your body in a way, right? It's like it's not where it's supposed to be. So it already creates a lot of strain, a lot of disconnection from where your heart is. And your heart is closing down because your shoulders are rounding and you're squeezing everything here, right? So it changes everything. It changes everything, how your body operates. And even your heart, it changes the way it's moving.
But how this discipline, the gyrotonic or, am I pronouncing it well? Gyrotonic?
Gyrotonic, yes.
And Pilates help to lose weight? Because usually, let me tell you this premise, what I feel as a, I don't know, like gym goer, many people don't want to, you know, either they are people who want to suffer like crazy because they see that the adrenaline is there and want to suffer.
Yeah.
Or they take this Pilates or all this alongside with a discipline as a relaxing way of...
Okay. So first, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not a weight loss specialist, or I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not a doctor, right? However,
Correct.
from the movement point of view, people with let's say extra body weight that they want to lose and everything, first they want to have a look at what they eat, when they eat, what they eat, and when they sleep.
And if they sleep.
If they sleep. Yes, because our sleep regulates many things, including our hormones, right? That's one thing. This is the massive part of your weight loss journey. I have a friend who is a nutritionist, and she's also a PT, and she works with that type of population. I don't specifically work, but of course, people of different, let's say, sizes, shapes, they come to me, and I can give a general advice. Yeah. So first, you need to look at that. What you eat, when you sleep, what you sleep, right? This is the first. You have to cover your base. If your base is not covered, it doesn't matter how many ab workouts you do. Yeah, I want to remove this part of the belly. I was like, that's never gonna happen. You need to find that first. Second, you will find what works for you in terms of physical activity. You have to be physically active. Yes, steps. Everybody's obsessed with steps this day. I'm not saying steps are BS. You have to make your steps, but it's also important how much you move off your chair during the day. You know?
This sounds like a real truth. You know, people are super, they chop themselves into pieces.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like you go to the butcher shop and you want to like, okay, I want to remove this, or, you know, okay, I'm not a plastic surgeon, right? To go and okay, how can I chop this away? No, I'm not. This is not my profession. Then what I want to say about like how can you relate like this gyrotonic and Pilates with the weight loss? We're talking about parasympathetic response. What does it do? It regulates your blood pressure. It regulates your hormones. It regulates your nervous system. You make it less like this,
reactive.
Less reactive. Although we need to react quick because this is how we are. We need to react to danger. That's how we evolved. Otherwise, we would never evolve. Otherwise, we would never run away from a wild tiger, right? We need that response. But you need to know, your body needs to know that you don't stuck there. This is not where you should live. You should be, okay, I reacted and I need to find my way to relax. This is what mind and body practices like this they do. They work with your nervous, and you have to work with your nervous system a lot. If you do not work with your nervous system, it doesn't matter how beautiful your muscles are.
Tell me about the nervous system super pissed off when we do the triceps. This.
I mean, we like a little bit of suffering, right? We do. We like a bit of suffering. You don't like?
So let's put it in this way. I think that at some point, our people who attend your class, me included, see results.
I think otherwise they wouldn't come.
But we hate triceps. And I really mean it. That is when you basically isolate the muscle, but at the same time, you don't really isolate in the sense of the fact that you do not make the other muscles
have
are
a
tend to move
focus, right?
counterbalance. Exactly. There is a difference between isolation and focus.
It is.
So the two poor bad guys are super suffering, like big time.
Yeah.
And at some point, this woman also, she comes up with, yes, let's go and ask the bodybuilders to do the same thing. And we all laugh and we'll drop our little muscles.
Yeah. Little muscles. Yeah. Yes. Again, I will say times and times again, muscles are great. We love them. We treasure them. Especially, everybody talk these days, women need more muscles. We need to maintain. We need to maintain what we have. That's true. But at the same time, if you have that bunch of stuff that you treasure, calling muscles, but you don't have connection between everything, what's the use? How can your body be whole?
Shall we say that Pilates and Gyrotonic regulates or keeps the ego?
Down. Yes, in a way that strength comes in different forms.
Yeah.
Strength comes in different shapes. And if you see a person who lifts, I don't know, 150 kg, we call it strength. Why doing our poor triceps is not strength? Why? Why we only look like only bigger, only faster, only stronger? There are different ways to be strong, and you need to respect your own architecture, your own genetics, your own abilities to the best way you can. Because I had a client once who came, even if she wants to, she cannot do crazy stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying CrossFit, but like something super active because of her heart surgery. She cannot.
Right.
But that, does it say that she cannot get stronger from different types of activities? She cannot support her body with different types of strength? Of course she can. Yeah,
But,
strength comes in
course.
different shapes and forms.
Tell me about the Gyrotonic.
Okay, Gyrotonic is
Gyrotonic.
So Gyrotonic is a bit of a different exercise system. It's still it's a method, it's a system, which is based on rhythmic, fluid, rotational spiral movements. Which makes it look, it looks different from Pilates. Pilates has a bit more it has a bit more rigidity. It can be quite linear, to be honest. It has a time and space. I absolutely love it. But a Gyrotonic gives that sense of freedom to the body when you move. So it's a lot of rotational movements there, a lot of spiraling movements there, that you can open up your body and open up the blockages that you have in your body. And it works, of course, a lot with your nervous system, because there is also some different types of breathing that you can incorporate when you move in Gyrotonic. And this method was created by ex-dancer who was injured a lot, and he tried to find different ways how to again same path, coming from pain, all the new stuff coming from pain. So he went through a lot of struggle himself, and he, by the way, he's still alive, and he went to explore different methods like yoga. He went a lot into the Chinese practices like qigong, and he basically took everything bits by bits, and he created his own system, which is very organic. It's moving a lot. You move your body in all sorts of spiral, juicy ways. It's connection. Amazing. It's all about connection. And there, I in my opinion, Gyrotonic is even deeper than Pilates in this sense, because there, I've seen a lot of change in my body with Pilates, but when I started doing Gyrotonic, I've seen massive change.
More in terms of in terms of how you feel in your back
and my back, how I feel,
mobility,
how mobility, how I feel, how I look. A lot of people were asking me, "Oh, did you lose weight?" I'm like, no, I'm literally the same weight since I remember, but it creates a different definition of the body. You feel like you're longer all the time. You're longer, like more open, more defined. This is what Gyrotonic, it gives us a sense of space and openness, and it does release those blockages. And I'm not talking about stuff that is in the air. No, it's literally, it can be your lymphatic system, it could be even nervous system blockage, like when you don't have that connection. Gyrotonic works a lot with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Also
flow. Like sense of flow, fluidity. Yeah, because again, coming back to the fascia research, fascia is something that really gives that flow.
How about helping the water retention?
Oh, I mean, as a part of it, of course, it could.
The flow.
Yeah, exactly. Once I had a client, she did it like a couple of times, and she's like, oh my god. I was like, what's happening? We did some rhythmic moving like feet and straps, because we also have in Gyrotonic, we have the feet and straps like in Pilates, but it has a different feel to it and like a different setup. And she's like, oh my god. I was like, I feel something. I was like, what do you feel? I feel like something started running in my legs. Like when you have I don't know, I always imagine if you have a blockage in your drainage and you like put some kind of liquid to dissolve and like boom, that kind of feeling. She's like, yeah, I have that feeling.
Well as I feel more the inner muscles of my core since I do Pilates.
Again, it's a different feel to it. Core is another big topic, which I like to talk about. That we created a notion of core, right? And we was like, okay, this is the most important part, which is not. But you definitely feel more open when you move in gyro. You feel that, yes, you feel your we want to feel like abdominal muscles and everything, like all around your belly. I know we all like that, but in a different way, in a completely different way. You create space. You are elongating, and this is how you feel. You have freedom and suppleness in you. This is what Gyrotonic gives, because suppleness is something that we miss. We have rigidity, like especially with Pilates, we have a lot of rigidity, but we don't have suppleness. Suppleness is when you are soft and strong at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely worth trying. I believe that every human being finds difficult to explore these different things once we get in a routine that we kind of like. But this is the reason why I strongly encourage myself and whoever wants to listen to this advice to always open up to different avenues, because we like routine, we like certainty, but at some point this is maybe not always a good option. It can be other options.
Exactly. It can be good, but actually it's good for the brain to explore new ways of movement. It stimulates our brain, and sometimes we don't like new stuff. We don't like the new stuff, and that's why when sometimes people come new, and you can see lots of people who come new to my classes, they do like, what are we doing here? It's like, where's my ab workout? I need my abs to burn. I can see that.
Well, let's state it's absolutely clear. The fact that a human being is not made for changing. Let's say he has all the skills to change. But, let me give you an example. If we want to lose weight and we find it difficult, the reason is simple. Our fat cells do not want to die. Simple.
Yeah.
What they do,
because they're scared.
Bravo. So what they do, they send signals through neurons. They send signals to the neural system, triggering the need of sugar. And they also play a lot of tricks, saying, okay, for once, let's have a slice of cake. Okay, for once. And this works with every single addiction. That can be smoking, it can be any other thing. You do not want to let die a habit.
Yeah, you don't want
So that's maybe the reason why when people go to your class, they feel a little bit like, what am I supposed to do? What am I doing? What is the most courageous? The most cheeky ones. What am I supposed to fail with that?
Why are we doing this? Remember, sometimes he's like, why are we doing this?
You learned how to anticipate us, to say, why are we doing this? Just to trigger the answer.
Yes. And I love those people because I understand their frustration, because sometimes I teach some classes, even a reformer, and it's like, yeah, but usually after this exercise we do this. I had one lady tell me, I was like, yeah, but first there's other teachers are teaching this is this way, I teach it the other way. It doesn't mean that after this has to go this. Who said that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Insane.
So like if I come to somebody's class, I do not dictate the class. Yeah, I embrace what I might not like it. I might not come back, or I will come back. I don't know. Maybe I will not resonate with the person. It can be different things. But I just want to see what are you offering me, and then I will judge, and if it's beneficial.
What if someone says, "Oh, Pilates is just stretching"?
I have that laugh. Yeah. Pilates is definitely not stretching. But sometimes people are like, yeah, but I feel I opened up. I was like, but did we do any classical stretching exercises? No. So that means, is it stretching? No. It's not stretching. Definitely it's not stretching. Plus, with the stretching part, please be careful. Don't indulge yourself too much, because as human beings, we're not actually designed to be stretched. We're not like just elastic band that you can just in and out.
Yeah, I remember actually once when you told me, remember when I had pain on my neck?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, somebody told me to...
And hold it forever.
And then you said, be careful because we're not, what did you say, strings. You should pull the string and then you will...
Yeah, so it's like I always bring this example with a t-shirt. If you take a t-shirt and you start stretching a t-shirt in one place, and you keep stretching, it will become loose, because you can even see it on the fabric. It becomes loose. But the thing is that we are a bit more complicated than a t-shirt. You know what I mean? So you have your basic architecture, and imagine even in a building, you want to change the foundation. You want to change the foundation, but you want to keep the house as it is. You cannot.
You're right.
Right? So, and this is exactly what we do. So basically, we do not need stretching in the classical version of it, because nobody walks in splits. Have you ever seen people walking in splits?
No. Not even my daughter.
I've never seen people walk in splits. Why do we need splits? It's artistic, dancing. We have some personal goals that we want to achieve, but with the stretching, especially in the older, once we become older, you basically breaking yourself. Right. It's like I always say, ask yourself when you feel that you're stretching, ask yourself where that stretching is coming from where it's coming from. And the answer would be, most probably it comes from your ligaments, it comes from your tendons. And ligaments and tendons are the trickiest part to heal when they are broken, when they are damaged. Ask any person who had a ligament or a tendon injury, myself included, by the way. I had a tear in my ligament in my shoulder. So how much does it take to heal? It takes ages to heal with the right approach. It takes a lot to heal, and it will always remind you some way or another, even if I don't have pain anymore, but it's still, if I overstrain myself, if I'm tired, I'm working out and whatever, it will still go like, hey, be careful, no pain, but just just be mindful. Because once you have an injury, it will be with you forever.
Forever.
Yeah,
I can speak for that.
It will heal. Your body will integrate whatever you need to integrate. You will be walking or whatever, moving.
But my shoulder is very much more mobile now.
Yeah.
Than before.
Yeah.
Right.
And you feel more connected than before, that's for sure.
I was like that before. Really?
Yeah. Much better.
Let me ask you one question, then
Yeah.
we need to close. What would you suggest, given your background and what brought you here, and your beliefs and values and whatever you wanted to put on the table? What would you suggest someone who wants to start the path of teaching?
Oof, that's a big one. First, ask yourself a question: why do you go into the teaching? Are you going because you want to really share the knowledge, or you have no other choice? Because sometimes people think like, oh, I'll go and I'll teach, I'll become an instructor, become a whatever. It's not as easy as it looks. You give yourself a lot out there and you might not even get back something. So is teaching really your passion, or is it something that you just like passing by? I think that would be the main idea.
Yeah.
Why
like
do
in
you
a
do it?
nutshell, ask yourself if you have other choices.
Yeah, but it's like, is it truly your passion or not?
If it's true,
Yeah.
but in the question of choices triggers the
True. It's
a
like,
little bit like
because we always have a choice.
you always have a choice.
You can be
It's,
like
it becomes a tricky answer, a tricky question.
Yeah. In this day and age,
makes-
you can
it makes
do
people
many
think.
things, right? Thanks God, most of us we have some sort of a choice. But is it truly your passion to share and to be there for others?
I haven't thought about that, but that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Alona, I love you. You know,
I love
even
you
if
too.
you make me suffer a lot. Yeah, if you guys come to a class, you will see. Okay, we need to close, but I feel super grateful to have you and in my life, and in Between the Lines. You guys, I already introduced what Between the Lines is in the previous episode, and in this episode I strongly encourage you to subscribe to the channel, because you will always, I promise you, we will not let you down. You will always see real truth, and I'm not talking about the truth, because truth is gimmick. I'm talking about real truth. So stay tuned for watching Between the Lines episode. Ciao.